Week launching off with extremely high temperatures. The Geosciences Institute has warned of the increased risk of fires and pointed out the most endangered regions are Shkodra, Kukas, Dibra and Gjirokastra. The Independent Qualification Commission has reconfirmed Shkodra's appellate prosecutor Aurobindo Lapai in office. He has proven himself in regards to the three components being wealth, professional integrity and purity of image. At the meeting of the Regional Tourism Committee, Minister Blendi Klosi pointed to the development of agro-tourism as one of the best alternatives to promote business and visitors. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Monday the 6th of August 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Today and tomorrow will be hot days with temperatures around 34 to 35 degrees Celsius. But in some southern areas, the temperature will be reaching higher degrees of 39. The Geosciences Institute in their daily reports noted that temperatures will remain high throughout the whole week. Despite the heat, there will be light precipitation in the regions of Shkodra, Kukas, Dibra and Gjirokastra. Temperatures should remain consistent throughout the week. Along the coastline this week, temperatures are expected to range from 21 to 34 degrees Celsius. Areas at a lower elevation have forecast minimums of 20 and maximums of 35 degrees Celsius. In mountainous locations, slightly cooler with 15 to 30 degrees expected. The expected high temperatures add to the risk of fire across the country, with some regions on particularly high alert. The risk of fire will increase even more tomorrow. Doctors recommend contacting a specialist if any skin irritation, pimples, herpes or any other signs are found on the skin due to various infections and diseases present this season. I would make an appeal that any change in your skin or that of your child's should be immediately referred to the appropriate doctor. Any problems should be addressed. The smallest things can turn into the most uncomfortable of situations. If children are under treatment with certain antibiotic or antipyretic products that lower the temperature, please do not keep them exposed while they are in the sun. Medications have the ability, besides repairing the target for which they are being used, but also to lower the protective mechanisms in some structures of our defence system, said dermatologist Ariona Shehu. Dermatologist Ariona Shehu says a big source of the problem arises from public swimming pools with their impurities and the possibility of those using it being negligent in their hygiene and as such increasing the rate of skin infections. Bacterial infections, especially in the paediatric population, are encountered in very large numbers due to the uncontrolled contact of children with each other. Impetigo is one of the most common infections we encounter and comes as a result of physical contact with infected children or the use of common facilities. This infection can be caught using sun lounges, pools and towels, just to name a few. Mycotic infections also do not remain outside the range of pathologies we should mention. They come as a result of the large exposure of our skin to common areas and as such can be contracted more easily near the pools, said Ariona Shehu. Individuals should be sure not to self-diagnose or self-medicate without a professional opinion. There is a very wrong, very problematic mentality for the health of the general population, which is the belief that we can cure everything for ourselves. We should not refer to rumours. We should not look to Google to search for a diagnosis and then treat it, said Ariona Shehu. An assessment of the skin condition of children and adults needs to be done before starting your vacation to determine the protection you need and to avoid unwanted incidents. The appellate prosecutor in Shkodra, Aurobindo Lapai, has successfully passed the vetting process. The Independent Qualification Commission has issued a decision for Dolapai, reconfirming him for duty. Dolapai was evaluated positively on the three components, being wealth, professional integrity and purity of image. According to the High Inspectorate of Declaration and Audit of Assets and Conflict of Interests, and also from the Independent Qualification Commission's investigation, it was determined that the prosecutor owned an apartment of 76 square metres of land in Bairanzuri. He also owns a 113 square metre house in Selita and is currently constructing a residence in Valbona and holds 2 bank accounts. Aurobindo Lapai is one of the best-known prosecutors in Albania after serving the Durrës prosecution for several years. He then moved to Tirana, where he participated in the investigation of the Gurdec tragedy at the first moments by carrying out the actions in the villages affected by the explosion until the file was sent to the Supreme Court. For several years, Aurobindo Lapai has worked as a prosecutor in the General Prosecution Office office and as the head of the inspection sector, before later transferring to the Court of Appeal in Shkodra, where he is currently working. Prior to his transfer to Shkodra, he was involved in a public debate with the former Chief Prosecutor, Adriatic Lala. Albanian business is being offered less from the banks, according to the second quarter report. The Bank of Albania reports that the demand for loans from businesses has increased, while banks say that they have tightened lending criteria for big business. However, it has left it unchanged for small and medium-sized businesses. This situation means that investments and growth of employees for this period in the private sector will not improve. In regards to currency, more loans are being taken out in lek than in foreign currencies, such as the euro. This is due to the lower interest rates being offered on loans taken out in lek. Meanwhile, interest rates on loans in euro appear slightly higher than in the first quarter, remaining at lower levels when compared to 2017. But the situation with lending to individuals is different. According to the Bank of Albania report on the second quarter of 2018, credit provided to individuals increased, mainly as a result of an increase in mortgages, with consumer loans reducing. It has been learned that during this quarter, banks have eased collateral requirements for individuals and left other conditions unchanged. According to the Bank of Albania's statistics, the total loan amount issued in Albania for June totaled 530.1 billion lek, at a decrease of 9.4 billion lek compared to the previous month, which saw a value of 539.5 billion lek issued in loans. The Democratic Party has announced that economic crisis, corruption and high unemployment levels are ruining Albania's lives. DP MP Grida Duma read the Eurobarometer report for 2018 for Albania, according to which 1,750,000 Albanians declare their economic situation to be terribly bad. When only in 1 year, between 2017 and 2018, 245,000 more Albanians have been added, declaring that their economic situation is very bad. Also, the Eurobarometer shows that for 67% of Albanians, unemployment is their biggest problem. In a single year, there are 315,000 Albanians who declare that their situation has worsened, said Grida Duma. According to the DP MP, even the Balkan Barometer shows that the economic crisis, corruption and high unemployment are destroying the lives of Albanians. 51% of Albanians claim to be excluded from society as they cannot find a job. 48% of Albanians state that the biggest problem with corruption is in health. 85% of Albanians believe that all the wealth of the country has gone to a small number of rich, and that the gap between the rich and the poor has increased tenfold within a year. It is clear that with this model of government favouring the oligarch and the people associated with the government has made it impossible for the everyday citizen to find work, and as such, keeping the poorest people poor. This is the truth that all Albanians knew about Albania, and now it has been proven even by the European Union, said Grida Duma. The Democratic Party adds that it is vital for Albanians to reject the Rama government. The government will give agro-tourism priorities, easing the fiscal burden and helping this activity to be developed. Agro-tourism helps areas to be visited at every season, and the rise of agro-tourism structures will help promote such activities. Environment and Tourism Minister Blendi Klosi convened the Regional Tourism Committee in Finish to talk about some of the tourism initiatives. We need a lot of strength so that what we have talked about in regards to promoting agro-tourism, which approaches the traditional food of the area, the bioproducts of small hotels and inns that welcome tourists. We have to look very closely with the next year to find us an agro-tourism network far more developed as a result of the fiscal facilities we have already spent in Parliament in preparation for the tourist season, said Blendi Klosi. There are several projects aimed at encouraging and developing tourist attractions for the Surje Kaltar area. The Ministry of Tourism is seeing the possibility of intervening in several major projects together with the Albanian Development Fund, where intervention in the Surje Kaltar area is seen as vital. The Albanian Development Fund will soon announce procedures for complex interference in Surje Kaltar and in some other areas, but I am citing Surje Kaltar because it is a very important tourist destination. We want to ensure that we have European standards for this tourist destination, said Blendi Klosi. During the meeting with representatives of local government and tour operators, Minister Blendi Klosi emphasised the positive developments of the season in the Vlora region, where water vehicle signalisation and the placement of beach guards have greatly reduced risks and increased the quality of services. The Scampa Theatre building in Elbasan remains in a dilapidated state due to the lack of funds allocated by the Ministry of Culture. The director of the Elbasan Arts Centre, Kliti Kapai, says that intervention in this institution is necessary because there are no dressing rooms or even toilets. Such additions can only be made with the funds from the Ministry of Culture, which have not yet realised the conditions. Currently, the municipality of Elbasan has approved a fund of 2 million lek for improving audio and lighting. Despite the conditions in the Scampa Theatre in the first 6 months of the year, there were a diverse number of works that have been shown to audiences, while the expectations are even higher for the remaining part of the year. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.